welcome to Sweetie Love's Kitchen. On the menu today, I'm gonna do a seafood boil soup. Say what now? A seafood boil soup. Oh my goodness, I've made this before, so I know how it tastes. Tastes so good, and it's now winter, so you know you need something warm to make you feel so good. This is a thing for you. So let me tell you what I'm working with. I have 2 whole pumpkin. I didn't get the one that I really wanted because you know you have that rich one. This is kind of semi, but it would do. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna puree these over here to make the soup. So after I take everything away, I'm gonna put this in some water and cook it, and then I'm gonna puree it in my Ninja Bullet. So yeah, that's that. Here I have 7 yellow potatoes. I have about 4 corn on the cob that I just cut in small size bites. I have like 7 garlic cloves here. I have 1 pack of frozen okra, and I have 2 cups of mixed vegetable. So you might ask, Sweetie Love, it's seafood boil, so where's the meat? Where's the seafood? So let me show you. I don't want to touch it. So right here, I have, this is the yellowtail snapper. So what I did, I fillet the snapper because I want to put it in the soup when it's almost finished. So I have 2 pieces, and this is just a large snapper fish, and this is what I'm going to use to make the broth for the soup. So this is what remained from the fillet, so I'm just going to put it in some water, season the water, and make a broth to make the soup. And this is the tail of it. So that is the fish. So are you finished? No. Over here now I have 20 large, well, semi-large shrimp. This is the uncooked raw shrimp, and what I did off camera, I devein it and clean it up and wash it with some lemon. I'm gonna keep the shell on because that's what helped to give the flavor of it. So I have like 20 pieces here. So when the soup is almost finished, then you're gonna put it in, because as we all know that when you're making seafood, especially shrimp and fish or salmon, it doesn't take that long to cook, because you cook it too much, then it's gonna be rubbery and it's no good. So this is what I'm working with, and I'm gonna season this because I want it to, you know, when you bite in something and taste that juicy flavor of it, that's what I want it with this. So I'm gonna take these stuff out of the way, wash my hand, and I'll be right back. All right, so now that we have everything situated, and this is our pot, I just fill it to, is that 2.5 liters of water. And so let me show you my seasoning that I'm gonna use for my broth. So I have some, what do you call this thing again? Pimento seed. I have some scallion. I have some pimento seed, I have some scallion, I have some thyme, and I have 4 cloves of garlic. So this is what I'm going to use to make my fish broth. When you do that, now you get the real flavor of the fish, because you know the fish has bone in it, and we don't want no bone when you're drinking the soup and you keep on getting bone stuck in your throat. We don't want that. So I put that in. And now I'm not even going to let it boil. I'm going to put my fish trimmings in. So I'm just going to put my fish trimmings in. This is the fish head. Yes, so I'm just gonna put all of my trimmings in. And remember, this is to make the broth. So I'm gonna save the fillet of the fish. So my next step, I'm just gonna add some, like 1 tablespoon of fish seasoning, just to give it the flavor of it. So I'll be right back. All right, so here I have 1 tablespoon of seafood seasoning or fish seasoning, and I'm just gonna put it in to give it flavor. Actually, let's use 2, because you know the broth, you want to have a little salty taste to it, so let's use 2. So there you go. I'm gonna give it a stir, and I'm just gonna let it boil. So I'll cover it. So the next step, I'm going to work on my puree for the pumpkin. So let's cover it, and I'll see you guys in a second. All right, so now that we have our other pot ready, and this water right here is for the pumpkin that I'm going to puree to make our soup. So I already have the pumpkin cut up. I put 1 tablespoon of salt in the water. So now I'm just placing all the pumpkin. I'm going to cook it, and then I'm going to let it cool, and then I'm going to puree it, and then get it ready for the soup. So I'm going to cover it and take it to a boil, and then I'll be back. Okay, so look, let's look at it. So now our fish broth, it's come to a boil, and I'm just gonna let it boil until everything mashed out. Look at it. Yeah, it smells so good with the seasoning that I put in it. Ooh, look at that little piece of flesh. I want to taste it. You're so greedy, girl. Look at it right there. I want to taste it. Yeah, this little piece right there. I'll let it stay. Ooh, it smells so good. So this is the broth, and it's doing its thing. So I'm just gonna cover it. So shall we go and look on the pumpkin? Okay, so let's go and look on the pumpkin now. Ooh, good. So the pumpkin has come to a boil, and it's cooking. So after this finished cook, I'm gonna cool it, because you don't want to blend it hot, because the blender can blow up on you. So I'm just gonna let it cook very soft, and then I'm gonna puree it to put into the pot to make the soup. So this is good. It's doing its thing. So I'm just gonna cover it. Okay, so now we have our pumpkin here that's already cooked, cooled. Remember, you have to let the pumpkin cool before you blend it, because we don't want any accident in the kitchen. So I just pack it up with the pumpkin. I had a little cold water to it with the water that I used to boil it. So now I'm just gonna turn it on and put on 3 and puree it. Okay, I think that's it. So let's push this back and let's see how it looks. Ooh, let me get my spoon. Oh my goodness, look at it. It's so rich and creamy. Okay, so I'm gonna pour it out in a container, and I'll be back. Alright, so as you can see, I finished puree the pumpkin, and this is how it looks. Ooh, so rich and creamy. So now the next step is I'm gonna put it into the broth, the fish broth. So let's move over, shall we? All right, so now that our fish broth is come to a boil, and the next step is we're gonna put in our puree. Take your time. Just gonna pour everything in it. All right, so now we have our puree pumpkin. Look at it. And I must point it out to you, my viewers, my watchers, my sweetie love fan, when you cooking any kind of soup for that matter, and you puree, the water and the pumpkin come together as one. You notice something when you're cooking soup and you can see the pumpkin separate from the water. When you puree it, don't do that. Look at it. So now I'm just going to move over and show you all of the ingredients that I'm going to put in. So shall we go over to our next station? Okay, so now we have our mixed vegetable. We have about 2 cups of mixed vegetable. I have 1 bag of frozen okra, and I just have a little piece of my pumpkin, a couple pieces that I'm going to put into the soup because I want to eat it. And here we have some yellow potatoes. It's about 7, and we have 4 corn that I cut. I just cut them in bite size. So I'm not going to put in the okra yet. The okra going to go in later. So I'm just going to move this back. I'm going to move my camera over, and shall we begin? All right, so the first step, I'm going to put in my pumpkin. So as you can see, everything is coming together beautifully. Beautiful. So I'm just going to cover it and let it come to a boil, and I'll be back. All right, so the next step is I'm going to put in my seasoning. I have some green scallion. I have 2 Jamaican hot scotch bonnet pepper, and I have some thyme, and I have some onion on the bottom. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to place them in. So the next step, I'm going to get my Jamaican chicken. No, it's not chicken. I'll show you the one that I'm using. So this is a fish tea. Because it's a seafood boil, you don't use the chicken noodle or the conch noodle. You use a fish one. Let's get it focused. There you go. So this is the one that I use, the fish noodle. Okay, so what I did, I sieve it out with a strainer because I don't want the noodle from it. I don't make my soup with the noodle. I don't like the noodle. The noodle tends to make it very thick after it's cold, and I don't like it. So I just sieve it out, and this is 2 packs of the fish tea, and I have 1 pack of the pumpkin one. So together 3. But I'm not going to put all of it at once because I'm just going to add it and taste as I go along. Okay, so I'm gonna let it cook because I want the corn to cook and I want the potatoes to cook and the pumpkin. So I'm gonna let it cook for at least 10 minutes before I get back to you. And then when I finish, I'm gonna add the okra, let the okra cook for like 5 more minutes, and then I'm gonna add the shrimp and the fish in it. So the next step, I'm going to put in my okra. Look at it. Oh, amazing. So I'm gonna put in my okra, and the okra, it's gonna thicken it. It's gonna get it that thick and nice and juicy. So I'm gonna put in my okra. So I have 1 bag of frozen okra. So I'm just gonna put in my okra, and I'm gonna let it cook for 5 minutes. Cover it, and after the 5 minutes, I'm gonna add the fish fillet, snapper, and I'm going to add the shrimp. Okay, so now we have our fish fillet. This is it, and we have our shrimp. So we're just gonna I'm gonna put in the shrimp first because I can move them around, and I don't want to move around are you seeing? What am I doing? Let's put it down. Oh, child. Okay, and I'm just gonna mix it around. All right, so guess what? Our seafood soup is ready. Look at it, beautiful. See the shrimp? I have it in the shell. Where are you going? Come here, come back. See, I have it in the shell, and the fish is right here. Look at it, beautiful, yummy. Take a close up. So that's it, our seafood boil soup. So next time you see us, we will be on the other side where we'll be plating it. There you have it. Oh my goodness. As you can see, this is our seafood boil soup, and as you see, I garnish it with some relish and some parsley leaf, and as you see, you have the shrimp on top, you have your corn and a little okra. Look at it, so beautiful. It tastes amazing. Oh my goodness. So there you have it. This is your girl Sweetie Love New York. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Share it with your friends and loved one. Ring that bell, press the notification bell, so whenever I upload an amazing video like this one, you'll be the first. Share, comment, and subscribe. Beautiful. Oh my goodness, I can't contain myself. Look at it. This is your girl Sweetie Love New York. Peace.